So good day everyone, we are here to present to you our topic, which is community-based tourism, participation and empowerment. Today I will be explaining the idea of community-based tourism. Community-based tourism managed by local residents embodies the ideals of self-sufficiency and self-determination, leading to more successful and equitable tourism development. Community-based tourism is tourism that is managed and controlled by local residents. This helps the community become self-reliant, make their own decisions, and benefit fairly from tourism. For community-based tourism to be sustainable, certain conditions must be met so that people today benefit without harming the needs of future generations. When these conditions are good, first, the basic needs of people must be met, such as food, water, shelter, and safety. Second is the poverty and equality should be reduced so that everyone can be benefited. Third, community should be given opportunities to grow through training and education. So fourth is people should have freedom of ignorance and unfair treatment, meaning they are respected and informed. And lastly, the economic benefits of tourism must be shared fairly for everyone and among the community. When these conditions are present, tourism becomes more equitable and can help both the present generation and the future ones. In this slide, I will discuss the community participation in tourism. Community participation tourism shows how involved local people are in tourism decisions. Participation ranges from simply informed, which is low involvement, to taking part in a planning and decision making, which is high involvement. Community participation kaya pwede siya compare sa ladder. At the lowest step, people are only being informed about tourism project and wala sila real power to make changes. Muna siya ang tokenism. So as we move up the ladder, participation becomes stronger until people reach the top where they can actually help sa making decision and managing sa tourism activities sa ilang community. Sustainable tourism encourage moving from token participation to genuine collaboration with communities. So, supporters of sustainable tourism believes that the community should not just be a listener. So, they are a listener. So, instead, they should become partners. This means giving them opportunities to participate in planning, managing, and problem solving. Next is the empowered communities can manage tourism activities, solve problems, and influence development. So it means when a community is empowered, they gain skills, knowledge, and confidence to run their own tourism project and makasolve sila sa ilang issues and take an active role in improving their area. So next is the participation should involve both supporters and critics to address all concerns fairly. It is important that participation includes all stakeholders, not only sa atong mga mo-agree sa tourism development, but also sa atong mga naay concern. This help create tourism that is fair, transparent, and responsive to all local issues. Overall, community participation leads to better planning, transparency, and more sustainable tourism outcomes. Today, we will talk about what is community is and who the stakeholders are. So a community is basically a group of people living in the same area who interact with each other and share certain values, relationships, and responsibilities. So communities kay dili siya uniform, they are diverse, meaning people who have different roles, backgrounds, and level of influence. They constantly change because of factors like relocation, migration, or changes in work and lifestyle. Even with these changes, kay communities remain connected and by shared belief and mutual support. So we have stakeholders. So ang stakeholders are any individuals or group who are affected by a project or who can influence its outcome. So mo include ang katong-awinan na local residents, business owners, government agencies, the media, competitors, and even the future generation. So important siya because tourism decision impact all of them in a different ways. So understanding this both community and the stakeholders help us plan better and more sustainable tourism projects. So on this slide, this is the most important points of this topic. So community involvement in tourism means how much, in what ways local people take part in tourism development. Their participations can vary. First, extent. These are how many people are involved. Next is intensity. These are how strong their involvement is. So lastly is the frequency. These are how often they participate. Since communities are diverse, it is sometimes hard to get everyone to agree, but every with challenges, community involvement is important so that local gain the most benefits from tourism. So next slide is tourism can benefit the community through first the local employment and self-employment. Next is the training and skills development, capacity building. So the third one includes local and decision making. Fourth one is building partnerships between government, private sector, NGOs, and communities. So next is the reducing negative cultural and environmental impacts. So in summary, community involvement in tourism varies in extent, intensity, and frequency. So ang tour managers kay ila consider kung kinsa dapat ang participate, when sila involved, and unsa ang issues nga dapat i-address. So local participations is essential for maximizing community benefits from tourism. So key benefits include employment, skills development, involvement in decisions, partnership, reduce negative impacts, and access to infrastructure. So community involvement can be grouped sa 4 aspects. So mo ni siya ang employment, capacity building, decision making, and benefit sharing. So in this slide, I will be discussing this table 9.1, which is explain the different aspects of community involvement in tourism. So first one is employment and livelihood. Features, priorities for employment are awarded qualified local residents. So first, tourism should create jobs for the local residents. They must be given priority in hiring, and kanang mga cases ang kanang tao is kanang manang ganit work, and employment may be rotated. It is also important that tourism activities kay dili nila ma-destroy ilang traditional livelihoods. So before tourism is introduced, the community's existing livelihood and needs must be studied. To ensure tourism will complement, not replace their way of life. The second is the capacity building. Capacity building is needed because many communities can have lack of necessary skills and education sa tourism. Training in hospitality, guiding, management, and other tourism skills kay makahelp siya sa mga local na mag-gain of better job opportunities. More importantly, knowledge empowers the community to manage their resource properly and improve ilahang quality of life. The third one is decision making in planning and management. The local community should be included in planning and management. Dili ni dapat sila ma-ignored sa any stage of tourism development. So, which is, i-encourage nila ang local residents na mag-participate sa decision making so that they can build their confidence and leadership, which is essential for sustainable tourism. Lastly is the benefit sharing. So, tourism benefits should be shared fairly. Ang kanang mga income sa tourism or kanang mga funds, kaya dapat i-use na siya to improve sa mga public services like water systems, healthcare, and transportation. So tourism revenue must also support environmental protection. So transparency is important so that the community can trust how funds are used. So in summary, community participation in tourism is essential to ensure that tourism creates jobs, builds skills, empower people, and distribute benefits fairly. When the community is involved, tourism becomes more sustainable and meaningful.
So now let's move on to participation and empowerment. So first we have the employment and livelihoods. So it says here that tourism should provide livelihoods for local residents by offering meaningful work that supports their basic needs while minimizing negative impacts on the environment and society. So it said that tourism should provide more proper livelihoods for local residents. This means the community should receive meaningful work that helps meet their basic needs while also ensuring that tourism does not harm the environment or their way of life. Next is the role of local participation. Sustainable tourism requires the active participation of the community at every level of planning and development to ensure that tourism aligns with their needs and values. So, for tourism to be sustainable, the community must be involved in planning and development. While locals participate, tourism decisions become more aligned with their culture, values, and long-term needs. Third is we have the capacity building. Capacity building is essential because many local lacks the necessary skills and knowledge to participate effectively in tourism, and providing training enables them to understand tourism markets, operations, and development processes. So, capacity building is the process of developing and strengthening the skills, abilities, and knowledge and resources of individuals, organizations, and communities. It enables people to perform effectively, make informed decisions, and take on leadership roles. So, ecotourism has three employment categories. First, we have the self-employment jobs. So in self-employment jobs, people work for themselves, alone, or with a few partners, and their income depends on the profits from what they produce. So in Philippine examples, they employed in family-owned or privately owned businesses. Next is we have the paid employment jobs. So workers have written or verbal contracts, and their pay does not depend on any employer's revenue. So in Philippine examples, we have the tourism positions like office and field personnel in the government. Lastly, we have the informal job. So these are legitimate jobs but operates outside formal systems, or they're not covered by laws, taxes, social protection, or employment benefits. So in Philippine examples, it's some taxi and tricycle driver, street vendors, souvenir item peddlers, attendants at small shops, waiters and waitresses at small eateries and restaurants. Now let's move on to the next slide. So first, we have the importance of skills and knowledge. Developing the community skills, confidence, and understanding allows them to take on managerial roles, make them informed decisions, and contribute significantly to sustainable tourism management. So developing skills and increasing knowledge allows the community to take on leadership roles. It helps them make informed decisions and manage tourism more effectively. As a result, they can contribute meaningfully to sustainable tourism development. Next is community empowerment. So it says here that knowledge about the tourism industry empowers community members by helping them improve helping them improve service quality, develop new skills, and participate actively in planning and management. Community empowerment is the process of enabling local people to gain control over decisions, resources, and actions that affect their lives. It involves building skills, knowledge, and confidence so they can actively participate in development initiatives. Third, we have the decision making and tourism. Local communities should be involved in tourism planning and decision making to ensure that development remains sustainable, culturally appropriate, and aligned with the long-term community goals. Effective decision making promotes sustainable practices, equitable benefit sharing, and long-term growth of the tourism industry. It empowers community to play an active role in shaping the future of their destination. Next slide. First, we have the contribution to sustainable society. Properly informed and empowered communities can contribute to environmental protection, cultural preservation, and the overall sustainability of the tourism destination. So, it means taking actions to balance economic growth, social well-being, and environmental protection. So, these communities plays a crucial role by supporting responsible tourism practices such as conserving natural resources, reducing waste, and protecting biodiversity. Second is barriers to participation. Many communities struggle with limited tourism experience, a lack of qualification, and insufficient access to experts, which hinders their meaningful involvement in tourism initiatives. So this caused by weak governance or lack of supportive policies, which may lead to preventing communities from having a meaningful voice. So overcoming these barriers is essential for ensuring that tourism benefits are shared fairly and development is truly sustainable. Third, we have the benefit sharing. Tourism benefits should return to the community through improved public services, infrastructure, and social and environmental well-being, with transparent fund management to avoid corruption. So, this refers to the fair distribution of the economic, social, and cultural advantages that comes from tourism among all members of the community. It ensures that local people receive income, employment opportunities, and other benefits from tourism activities. Now let's move on to dimensions of empowerment. So community empowerment has 4 dimensions. First is economic, psychological, social, and political dimensions. So first is economic empowerment. It ensures access to resources, income opportunities, and financial independence. Next is psychological empowerment. It builds skills, knowledge, and awareness to make informed decisions. Third is social empowerment. It strengthens the community networks, social inclusion, and participation in collective activities. And lastly, we have the political empowerment. It gives community a voice in decision making and the ability to influence other policies. So lastly, the final insight. So when community members are informed, trained, and empowered, tourism becomes more sustainable, inclusive, and beneficial for both residents and visitors.
Today, I'll start with the attributes of successful participation in sustainable tourism. Successful participation means both the community and the individual are working together. Dili lang leader or official but ang mga tao mismo involved sa planning o decision making. According to the lesson, this collective effort is necessary para ma-sustain ang tourism and ma-improve pa jud ang result. For example, kung ang community tinabangay during planning like giving feedback, sharing concern, and suggesting ideas, mas maayo ang outcome sa tourism. Mas organized siya, mas transparent, mas suit sa needs for locals. So overall, successful participation helps the whole community achieve sustainable tourism. At the community level, ang focus ani kay unity o share identity. Kung pareho sila goals or share interest, mas dali sila maka-cooperate o maka-decide as one. The lesson also highlights that commitment is essential for planning and achieving outcomes. For example, sa usa ka barangay, kung tanan residents mo support sa ecotourism project like protecting forest trail or participating in meeting, napakita na sila og cohesion and commitment. So, community level participation becomes stronger when there is unity, shared purpose, and full commitment. Next, we have Table 9.3, the characteristic of communities that participate effectively. This characteristic explain unsaong pag-organize sa community para mas effective and sustainable ilang involvement. So, first kay kanang cohesion, shared identity allows people to act together. When people feel connected, they can take collective action more easily. Demarcation, which refers to having clear boundaries or group distinction. These boundaries help organize the community and guide how membership or role are defined. Legitimacy. This means that the authority or leadership within the community is recognized and trusted. If leaders are trusted, people follow decision willingly. And lastly, resilience. Community can adapt to environment changes, for example, adjusting tourism during storm. All these characteristics strengthen community participation and help tourism projects survive challenges. Next is individual level. This level highlights the local residents must be fully representative during the planning stage. Member of the community collectively nominate an individual who can represent them in decision-making bodies or committees. Like, for example, a local fisher might be chosen to join a tourism planning committee para ma-share niya ang real impacts of tourism on marine resources. This can make planning more fair and accurate. So, individual participation gives local voice and ensure their concerns are included in tourism development. The next part is Table 9.4, which describes the qualities of an effective community representative. First, a good representative must be active and committed. Like kanang attend jud og meeting og dili magsige og absent, and consistent participation. Second, they must be competent. This means they have the necessary knowledge and skills to analyze the issue like environmental impact. And third, they should be credible, trusted by the community, and able to present their interests honestly. And fourth, a good representative must be a good communicator, someone na kahibalong explain og maminaw. And finally, the last is they must be flexible, meaning they can take on different roles and adapt depending on what the situation requires. These qualities help the representative support inclusive and effectively participation in tourism planning. Next is community tourism. This model is considered one of the best because of the community owns, manage, and controls the tourism activities. Mo ni siya called the purist model kay sila mismo ang nagdala sa project. For example, a community-owned ecotourism site where local manage the tours, protect the environment, and share profit sa tanan. Benefits like income and job remain within the community. Community tourism empowers people and supports sustainable development. Lastly, Table 9.5 shows the different participatory models communities can use. This model explains the different levels of community involvement and control in tourism. The first model is community ecotourism. Here, the community fully manage the ecotourism venture. They own it, control it, and make the decision. The second model is joint ventures. In this arrangement, the community partners with a private company or an NGO. Both sides share responsibilities and benefits through an agreement. third model is private business employing community members. In this model, the business manage the operation, but community members are hired for tourism-related work. Fourth, we have NGO or grassroots organization leads project. These initiatives are managed by NGOs or local organizations, often based on traditional community practices. Lastly, co-management involves a partnership between the community and the government. Together, they manage public land or resources, and decisions are made through collaboration. So these models offer different ways for communities to participate, each with different levels or shared power and responsibilities.
Good day, Miss. I'll be discussing advantages of community participation to the tourism industry. Community participation is not a one-way street that favors only the host community. Equally important are its benefits to the tourism industry. So, the goodwill and cooperation of the local community is key to good hospitality service, which the industry has to secure according to Murphy 1985. So, when the people who live in a place are happy and work together, it helps the tourism industry give great service. Think about this. If the locals are friendly, the whole experience is better for the visitors. The next is the friendliness and hospitality of the local people are important pull factors. These attributes usually rank high on the list of positive features about a destination. Sweeney and One Hill 1996. So, the friendliness and welcoming nature of the local people are big reasons why tourists choose to visit a place. People often remember and talk about how nice the locals were when they describe a great holiday spot. So the third advantages of community participation to the tourism industry is local knowledge about the destination enables the local community to give useful insights on what aspects of the tourism ventures will be visible or not feasible according to Tuzon and Timothy 2003. So the people who live there have special knowledge about their home, katong mga nasa local community. So this means they can tell tourism business what ideas will work and what ideas won't work in the area. They can give helpful advice on what tourists can realistically do and see. So the fourth one is the personalized experience or interaction of tourists with local people through friendly socialization. Example, sharing stories, drinks, and meals is an important attraction in village cultural tourism according to Zippel 1998. So, real interaction is the kanang monang experience, di ba? So, tourists love getting a personal experience by spending time with the locals. Things like talking, sharing stories, having drink, or eating together are a big reason people choose village cultural tourism. So, these real friendly interactions are a huge draw for visitors. Fifth advantages of community participation to the tourism industry is involvement of the local community is generally required by donor and funding agencies for nearly all proposed tourism development project. Coley or Cole 2006, correct me if I'm wrong. So, when people or groups like big organizations or governments give money for new tourism projects, they almost always demand that the local community be involved. If the locals are not part of the plan, the money may not be given. So, sixth is acceptance of the tourism development elicits local support for the protection of the natural environment, which is ecotourism, vital natural capital. So this means is when the local community agrees to and supports the tourism project, they are more likely to help protect the natural environment like nature, wildlife, or land. Muna sila din. This nature is the most important resources for ecotourism. Let's move on to tourism issues at the community level. The effects of tourism on local communities are mixed. Tourism development can either contradict or complement sustainable livelihoods. Table 9.6 is the summary of the positive and negative impacts of tourism at the community level. So, there are three elements: economic, environmental, and social or cultural. So, in economic, the positive impacts are new opportunities for tourism employment. It's the new jobs in tourism. Then, negative impact is lack of time and opportunities for traditional farming and fishing. It means less time to do traditional farming and fishing. So, another positive impact is new and additional sources of income. So, extra cash income or new money. So, ang negative impact niya is increased dependence on the outside world. So, locals become too dependent on money from the outside world. So, another positive impact is alternative to illegal fishing and farming and other forms of unsustainable resource exploitation. This means that new ways to make money instead of things that hurt nature, like illegal fishing, like ganyan. Then, ang negative impact niya kay access to cash to finance resource exploitation. It means easier access to cash can lead to exploiting nature more, selling off resources. Sa environmental part, ang positive impact niya kay cessation of illegal resource exploitation like fishing, logging within protected areas. The other positive impact is incentives to divert time and labor away from unsustainable resource exploitation. Another positive impact is increased local incentive to conserve the resource base of tourism. Sa negative impact niya is conservation backfire. Like example, supplementary income from tourism is used to finance the commercial exploitation of natural resources. So, ang positive impact niya kay stops illegal or bad things that hurt nature. Ang negative kay conservation backfire. So, other niya positive impact is money from tourism is used to fund business that end up exploiting nature, taking resources for money. So, gives people a reason to protect nature. They earn money from tourists visiting protected area. So, arita sa social or cultural na positive and negative impacts. So, positive impact sa social or cultural is improve well-being and quality of life, enhance cross-cultural relationships, new skills in tourism development and marketing, and positive change in the way the local residents value and use local resources. So, positive impact niya dahil mo to ang better quality of life and well-being. Then, local people are pushed out and their traditional jobs are made less important. Then, local learn new skills, positive changes in how locals view and use their local resources. Then, ang negative impact niya kay loss of cultural identity and self-actualization. Then, displacement and marginalization of traditional implements and livelihoods. In conclusion, to sum up all, To plan and manage tourism so it lasts a long time, it's very important for the local people and other interested groups to be involved. This makes sure that big problems and worries are understood and fixed. In many places like the Philippines, local communities often can't join in the tourism development because they don't feel like they own it, like lack money, skills, or knowledge about the industry. When the political and social situation in a tourist spot is difficult, getting the community to participate becomes very hard, especially in poor rural areas where people have limited work. So, getting the community involved includes creation of opportunities for employment, means tourism creates jobs, helps people build their skills, gives them a say in decisions, and let them share the money earned. When people benefit from tourism, they are more likely to care for and protect the environment and their society.